The Sci-Horror Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sci-Horror Film Podcast. I'm Andy Walker and I'm joined as always by my friend Badger. Hello, Badger.
Hello, everyone. How you doing, Andy? You all right?
I'm all right, thank you very much. Are you okay, mate?
Yeah, not too shabby, not too shabby. It's WrestleMania weekend!
Yes. Okay. I must admit, I have caught up a little bit with some of the wrestling over the last year or so, but not very much. I used to watch it back in the day, when it's all like I used to watch it when it was all kind of like the Ultimate Warrior and Shawn Michaels and people like that,
Yeah. Well, we're going to start doing a series soon, aren't we? Where we're reviewing wrestling films. I need to get that off the ground very soon.
Yeah, we will definitely sort that out. That should be good fun. There are some films out there with wrestlers in that are really quite awful. There are some good ones. There are some good ones, but there are some that are really awful. There you go.
As always, it's great to be here.
Yeah. Thank you to everyone for joining us. And this week we are looking at science fiction. And as usual, we have two short films and a feature film. And we'll start right off with the first of the short films. This is from 2016, and it's a film called The Fermi Paradox. The writer and director of this is Steve Young, and the cast is Sarah Valletta. The synopsis for this says, an enthusiastic scientist explains the Fermi Paradox and the theories that surround its interesting argument. But as we start to learn more about the theory, there is a gradual realization that all is not as it seems. Okay. Technical stuff first. I think it looks really good and the acting's really good.
I must admit, I did like the acting, and technically, it was good. You had that sort of coffee shop vibe going on there.
Yeah.
It felt like a real situation. And any film, should be based in realism in some way, so that was good. It made you feel like you were watching a real thing. If anything, it was more than a film. It made you feel like you were watching something that actually happened. So I did like it in that respect.
It's a very talky short film with not a lot of action or anything going on, really.
Yes, I must admit, I was a bit like, it's one of these things where I wanted a lot more from it. And the whole premise of her getting iller and iller as she went along felt like a missed opportunity. It felt like there could have been so much more done with this film, rather than her just waffling on about the paradoxes.
I quite like it because I think it's quite original and it's quite intelligent for a film.
Yes. That I will give it, yes.
I can see that a lot of people might not like it because it could be said that nothing really happens.
Yeah, honestly, I was a bit like, when's this going to kick in? Like for me, it was a missed opportunity for something greater.
I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, the dialogue explains what it's about and it works well at doing that, but for anyone that doesn't know, the Fermi Paradox is basically a thing that highlights the contradiction between the huge probability that there is life on other planets and the lack of evidence that we've ever found of it. And it lays out some theories as to why that is so. But yeah, I mean, I quite liked it. It's another thing for me though with this. It's kind of like this is almost like what could be stuck in the middle of a film where something's happened or some things are happening. Then there's this discussion where she explains the Fermi paradox and the ideas around it, and then things go off and carry on happening.
Yes, it must admit it did feel like that. It felt like, what's going to happen to her after she leaves the coffee shop.
Yeah.
If an alien has sat down with her and hunted her out to try and find out what she knows
Well,
and who knows about it, they're not just going to go, see you later, have a nice go, it's nice having coffee with you, bye.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, because one of the things that she said was like, that maybe one of the theories is that we don't realize they're already here because they're exactly the same as us and we wouldn't notice them anyway.
Yeah, well, everyone thinks that anyway,
You
who's
know,
half a conspiracy nut.
um, but it is very much, it kind of reminds me a bit of like in what's the film, Sudden Impact, is it?
Okay,
Deep Impact. The one where the meteors.
yes.
It's it reminds me of the press conference they have in that, where they do all the talking about what it means and what's happening and how it's going to affect us and all that kind of thing. And then they go on and have the actual story.
Yeah. Mm.
It
It feels, yeah, for me, I am definitely in that frame of mind where it's like the alien wouldn't just leave them to it. There would have been something else. There would
yeah,
have been a bit at the end with a jump scare. For me, that's how I would have done it. Would been a bit at the end with a jump scare where the alien gets her or something like that, or maybe she's beamed up, because she knows too much. They wouldn't just let her walk off. That's what made me think, is she just walking off and the alien's going to sit there and continue drinking his coffee? It doesn't. No, it didn't gel with me, that one. I was
yeah,
a bit like, it's just talking heads.
yeah. It is talking heads. Really, it is basically somebody has said, I like I'm interested in the Fermi paradox and about the theories around it, and I'm going to make a talking head film where somebody explains it to everyone.
Yeah.
And that's basically all it is.
Yeah, it could have done with being a bit more for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you, but I quite liked it. But then, I think it's because of the fact that I'm quite interested in that thing
Yeah.
as a
Well,
whole.
I
So,
love spooky stuff and aliens and all that sort of
so
stuff.
that kind of those theories and that sort of thing I'm
Yes.
quite interested in. So I just kind of,
Yeah.
but
I,
yeah,
I
I do get
Yeah, I'm
it.
definitely a conspiracy nut myself. I do agree with you there, but no, there was just something about it that didn't gel with me. I wasn't too keen.
No, okay, fair enough. Okay, a second of our short films is from 2024. This is called Planet 13.
Mm.
The writer and director of this is Joe Murdy. The cast is Luna Blanco, which is a great name for somebody in a science
I
fiction
know, it's
film,
brilliant,
isn't it?
isn't it?
Jordan Rivers and Luna Blanco and Jordan Rivers. The synopsis for this says, on a harsh, birds-out planet that is rapidly dying, a young couple roam the land in search of a way to buy their survival. Which think
I really liked the aspect. I mean, you said it was filmed in. Was this one filmed in Australia too?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not absolutely sure where this one was made, but it may have been.
Yeah, because it definitely gave me that sort of feel of this is on Mars. We're in Australia, but it's pretending to be Mars. And it gave me that vibe. And I was like, yeah, I actually really can believe we're on Mars here. It it felt like, oh, actually, yes, we are at Mars now. The red colouring of the lighting,
Yeah.
the dusty environment, you could, and they were very good acting. You could tell they were always thirsty. They were always trying to get to somewhere where there was food or water. You really got the vibe that there was a bit of survival there, that they were struggling, and they really did act well with that sort of situation. And the effects were great. I
Oh,
really
yeah.
liked them.
Yeah. But I mean, I like the fact that they give an explanation as to what's happened to the planet, and always sort of think a bit about the fact that what took sort of like thousands of years on Earth they managed to do in 60. They managed to destroy the planet effectively, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like I liked that they gave that background to it in a voiceover that
Mm.
wasn't too intrusive, but also wasn't too sort of like, I'll get on with it.
Yeah.
That worked well, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these films, that's all they need. I mean, not being funny, that's probably what the Fermi Paradox needed.
Yeah,
Just a little blurb to why that lady is in a coffee shop talking to an alien about this thing. And
yeah,
did she know it was an alien? And is there a thing? So sometimes, like I said, that Fermi Paradox thing could have probably just done with a little bit of backstory. And with this one, it definitely did benefit from it.
the only
And,
thing I would,
you know,
oh,
and it sometimes it makes the films a lot more well rounded. There's a film called Alone in the Dark
yeah,
from a few years back, and that basically tells you the whole story of all the games that happened before it, and then it went boom, here we go, we're
right.
in the film. So it does benefit from that sometimes.
But
I mean,
the
look
only
at the
thing that,
Star Wars stuff. Sometimes
yeah,
they tell you, especially the prequel ones, it tells you the whole thing that happened. In every single one, and to that point, so it does help.
yeah, no, I get that. The only thing for me with this is I just don't think there was enough of it because there was a lot going on that needed to be explained, and why, that they have to use these energy cells to buy their time within a place, and they've got to have so many per person, and if they don't, it takes them years to work it off, and you kind of go, well, what are these things exactly, because you don't told exactly what they are. And
No, I
you know
just assumed they were cells for a ship,
I
you
don't
know,
yeah, I
but
don't
I
know.
don't know.
But that's the thing. I think those things could do with being expanded on and explained a bit more.
Mm,
And I don't know if this was the idea of that was, to do a second film, or to do to make a feature film based on this idea, because
mm,
I think the idea is really good, and I think
yeah.
it works really well. And as you say, the atmosphere and the effects on that were really good.
I mean, what did get me though was that the actual capsules were very fragile. All they did was
Yeah,
drop them out the bag, and then they were done. And I'm like, if they were capsules to do with a ship or something like that, like you say, that was a bit ambiguous. I did think if it was capsules for a ship or something, they would have been a bit more robust rather than just breaking when they've dropped on the floor. So I
yeah.
was a bit like, oh, come on. We could have had like a monster eat them or something, something a bit more.
I just feel that it's one of the that's another one of these films where it feels like there was a lot there that by the end of it that I still didn't know, and I would like to know more about.
Yeah. I mean, I really do hope we get a second one.
But I
I mean,
think it's a good thing because it keeps you talking about the film. You kind of go, what does that mean? What's all that
yeah.
about?
I mean, it just shows you sometimes there is still hope because the one we watched the other week and has gone dormant for like 8 years, and then all of a sudden they're like, actually, there's still hope. So you never know.
Yeah,
They might
yeah,
up the project.
yeah. But I thought it was a good film. I thought it was really well made
Mm,
and well acted, and as I say, I really like the idea. I think the idea is brilliant.
yeah. Oh yeah. I love the practical effects as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And it did make you feel like you were on a desolate planet.
And the props, I mean, the actual cell things themselves looked really good. They
It
looked,
did. Yeah.
they were really well made, really good props.
Mm.
Okay,
It
right.
was just a shame that he disappeared off the. They obviously were doing the watch thing. He's disappeared, and then sort of died off screen. That was a bit. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
We could have had that scene extra, couldn't
Well,
we?
that's the other thing is the fact that at some point it sounds like there were other people out there looking as well who were kind of the enemy, but
Yes,
you never see them, and it's never kind of talked about. And was it them that killed him, or did he just die in a fall, or what?
that's it. They didn't really go into that. Yeah, did he get forced to go off and then get killed? They could have put an extra 5 minutes in there
Yeah.
to open that up a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like I said, it was good, but just a teeny whistle extra would have been great.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. The the feature film this week, and I'm kind of biting the bullet with some of these films because of a lot of things. This is from 2014, and it's a film called Australians. Uh, the writers are Rita Arman and Joe Bayer. The director is Joe Bayer. Or Bauer. Look at Bauer. Anyway, the cast: Rita Artman, Doug Hatch, Tamara McLaughlin, Lawrence Silver, Paul Adams, Kyle McCallion, Caroline Bell, Rob Jenkins, Emma Randall, Jack O'Brien, and Joe Bauer. There are more in the film, and they're on all listed on IMDb if you would check those out. The synopsis for this says extraterrestrials launch a nationwide assault on Australia, much to the bafflement of the rest of the world. Now, I would say, I mean, I have said before on here a number of times, I'm not a real huge fan of like sci-fi comedy or horror comedy. There are some I like, but not that many. The reason I wanted to watch this one, apart from the fact that it's called Australians, which I just think is a brilliant play on words, but I find Australian comedy is normally a lot closer to the UK comedy than American comedy is.
Yeah.
So I thought, I don't know, I thought maybe I would find this funny. Yeah. Uh, it's it's an okay comedy. Some parts are
Um,
funnier than others. You know, as you're always going to get that in comedy stuff. You're never going to get a film
yeah.
where it's absolutely hilarious all the way through.
See, what I thought was brilliant on this one, and I looked it up. So I was like, the camera quality is slightly weird, and it was all done on old-fashioned camcorders.
How was it?
Yeah, yeah, it's all
Oh,
done on
right.
old school camcorder, and any effects and stuff they've obviously put in and spliced in. That's why the picture quality looks slightly weird because it's all done on old fashioned tape and stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I really thought, wow, this is great, and it's very much my sense of humour, bits and pieces. Like you say, some jokes don't land, some do, um, but it did feel like someone's obviously like. It felt like I was like, wow, this could be what Balamoron could have been like if I'd have actually had 10p in my pocket. You know,
yeah, 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 yeah.
this is what This is like if I'd have actually had a bit of money, this would have been like the next elevation up. So
I mean, there are some,
I was very like, well done, everyone. This is
there are
great.
some, there's some really good CGI effects in this and some great stuff in it. I like with a lot of these sort of films, a lot of or a lot of comedies, sci-fi comedies, horror comedies, or comedies in general. I felt that the overall joke wore a bit thin somewhere around the middle,
Yeah,
and then it kind of picked up again towards the end.
yeah,
Um, but it was enjoyable film. There were some good parts that had me actually laughing out loud.
yeah.
It's not a bad film at all.
No, not at all. It did remind me of Spaced. Have you ever seen
Yeah,
Spaced years ago? I
yeah,
definitely got that sort of vibe. It did feel like, like you say, the British and Australian sense of humour is very close, and it was really funny. I loved even the bits where at the start where they had, the band and they were failing and all this sort of stuff, and the brother turns up with his friend, and that's about it. you know.
uh,
So
yeah. I
some
like.
bits were quite funny.
I do like the fact that they didn't notice that one of their friends had been taken over by an alien. You know,
Yeah, and then the dad shoots him 17 times in the chest or something, and they just sit there picking out the buckshots and putting plasters on it, and then
And
he's fine.
he
And then
brings him
after,
back to life, and it's like, what the.
and then we're like, oh, don't worry, I missed all the organs and none of the bullets went through. We're just going to plaster him up.
And then at the end, the same thing's happening. Same thing happens again.
He gets chucked in the ice, yeah. But what made me laugh was, and it's especially dry, and I was a little bit, I was a bit morbid. They literally put the map on his body, and they went, "Oh, what's that red splodge? Who's that?" And they went, "Oh, don't worry, that's just blood from the body."
But what I did like as well is that there's the the dad who, I don't know if you should give it away really, but I
Yeah.
suppose you can. The dad who turns out to be an alien. Um, he says about the fact that when he first came he killed accidentally killed this bloke, couldn't leave the body there, so he ate it. But he didn't eat all of it straight away. He kept some of it for to have the next day.
Oh.
And then right at the end, the guy gets locked in the freezer, so obviously has died or whatever. And you get this post credit screen thing of the dead sitting there eating this stuff out there, and somebody says, "Dad, have you seen Joe?" It's kind of like a little.
Oh,
But yeah, some of it, as I say, some of it I'd be laughing out loud. There was,
yeah. And
there was
there
some.
was a few cringe jokes. Obviously, you thought the brother was gonna, get a girlfriend finally, and then obviously some weird American Pie style tape that comes on at the end with him zipping down his trousers, and you mean, oh, it's so cringe.
And and the joke that kind of like starts the whole thing off of the cousin who's staying with them making a joke about aliens from Uranus and about and it is the thing even now most people I know when you say Uranus find it funny.
Yeah, honestly, that's one of these things that will never stop being funny.
No matter how many times they try to pronounce it Uranus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
But
yeah, overall, I thought it was a brilliant little film,
yeah,
and it did make me think. Ooh, if I actually had a budget, I would make something similar. You know,
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I really liked the effects of the aliens and the as people, when they were
yes,
talking,
that was
and
good.
also the robots and things like that. They were brilliantly done.
Yeah, and I liked the fact that when the aliens do get killed off and stuff, I thought that was brilliant when the salt hit them and they all blew up and stuff. Well, it was great.
That the gun she's got that turns everything into sort of rock
Yeah.
is fantastic. It's a great thing. I love it.
Mhm.
Again, great effects and yeah. I mean, as I say, yeah. There were parts of it that I'd be sitting there going, "Oh God, this is good. Stop it. This is stop being funny now." And then
Yeah,
it
yeah,
kind of picked up again. But overall, it's I thought it was an enjoyable film to watch. And
yeah.
is it a
I mean,
great film? Probably not, but it's a
no,
decent bit of harmless fun. It's
yeah. I didn't really get the joke about all the weird wigs. That sort of went over my head, really. I didn't get why
yeah,
everyone was wearing a wig.
I
That
don't.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I didn't get that joke, but
I'm not sure. Yeah, no,
that went over my head a bit. But
were a couple of jokes. I mean, the chances are there's a couple of jokes in there that are just kind of like you'll only find funny if you're Australian. Or whatever.
yeah,
I
yeah,
did quite like that. I did quite like the fact that there's always this thing. I know there's a kind of rivalry between Australia and New Zealand, but I know that there's also a kind of rivalry between a lot of people in Australia and Tasmania. Because
yes. And I've
Tasmania
now found out.
used to be a separate sort of place, but it's now included as part of Australia. And a lot of Australians don't think it should be. A lot of the Tasmanians didn't want it to be, and so there is this kind of like rivalry. And I liked the fact that they played on that.
Yeah, well, I've certainly learned that today. That was something new I learned today.
And I quite like the whole thing of like Americans the American guy turning around and saying they're attacking Australia. It's nothing to do with us. We don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
we, yeah, we don't care. We're just going to pray for the USA.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
kind of fitting.
Oh dear. And like you say, that would have been a very sort of British response in a way as well. As oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah,
quite good as well. The fact that there was this whole sort of I'm this kind of thing of like sort of all of them thinking that they were there for different. The aliens were there for different reasons.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. But to quote Shaun of the Dead, let's wait for it to all blow over and go for a pint at the Winchester.
Yeah. I also like the fact that the leader of the aliens found someone that was they thought was the most regal of people in Australia. So they picked a Lady Gaga lookalike, which yeah, good fun, good fun.
Yeah, very good fun. Yeah.
Fun. Okay, so there you go. There were three films. We had the Fermi Paradox, which I quite liked. Actually, you didn't like it as much. It is a very talky film. It's a very niche thing, I think. Then we had Planet 13, which we both liked, which was a good film, but we both felt could have been expanded on more, a little bit more to it. And feature film Australians, which I mean, I quite enjoyed watching it, but I'm never you know me, I'm picky when it comes to comedy stuff. But you really enjoyed it, and I can understand why. I think there's a lot to like about it. It's a
Yeah, definitely.
if,
Yeah.
if you want to sit down and have a bit of a laugh, without too much to think about, it's really it's a great film to
Yeah.
just sit and
In
watch.
fact, I'm amazed that it hasn't sort of got more of a cult appeal.
Yeah, yeah,
Some of these films that we watch, I think, how comes there's stuff that's more popular than this,
yeah.
that but this is 100 times better. It does amaze me sometimes,
Well, yeah,
how they haven't sort of like there's stuff in Hollywood that's absolutely terrible that gets more talked about than some of these smaller films.
yeah. I know.
Even some of the horror films we've watched, I think that's miles better than some of the stuff that has been released and got loads of money. So
Yes,
hopefully more of these films get more traction.
yeah, yeah. I know. I there are very few films that I've seen since starting to do this podcast that I would say to people, God, it's awful.
Mm.
There have been one or two, but very few. One of them, I hated to say this, but one of them being a film called Starship Invasions.
Okay.
And the reason I hated saying that is because it got Christopher Lee in it,
Oh, okay.
and that should have been made it better, but it didn't.
I've
It's
never heard of it. What's it about?
it's an alien invasion thing, and that Christopher Lee plays the leader of these aliens, and they invaded the Earth. But it's got Christopher Lee in it, and it's got oh God, I can't remember his name. Guy he was in Hustle,
Okay.
the UK TV series of Hustle, and he was also in the Magnificent Seven, and he was in The Men from Uncle, and what's his name? I can't remember his name. Bloody hell, that's going to annoy me. Anyway, he's in it. The thing is that Vaughan, was it something Vaughan?
Vince Vaughn?
No, not Vince Vaughan. I can't remember. Anyway, my take on the film was that his part in this could have been basically played by us by an armchair. It's got the his acting and the person and the character he's playing has absolutely zero personality.
Oh, no.
Everybody else in the film is kind of like really not that great an actor. And Christopher Lee tries his best, bless him, but the thing he's working with is bloody awful. The actual kind of the dialogue and the setups and everything, and even the effects are just terrible.
Was it one of his last films?
Oh no, no, it was made in the 70s, I think.
Really? Oh,
Yeah, it was. Hang on a minute, because his name's going to annoy me, and I'm going to Starship Invasions, 1977, and it stars Robert Vaughn and Christopher Lee, and it is bloody awful. Apparently, it got a cult following on because it was showed on late night TV in America.
okay. Was
Uh,
it a Hammer released one or?
no, 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 it's an American.
Hmm. It's unusual because I'd have thought projects outside of Hammer he would have been a lot more careful of. I know.
It was made in Canada. It was released. It was re-released.
Hmm.
Originally released in 77, and then it was re-released in the UK under the title Project Genocide.
That's unusual. That's
And
an unusual one.
it is awful. It's on YouTube if anyone wants to dig to watch it. There is a link to it, and when we did the review, it's in the as we every season we put links to as many films as we can find on YouTube and things. We put up in a playlist on the Thrave Productions website. So have a look through. If you find Starship Invasions and you want to sit through it and watch it, then please let me know what you think, because I think it's bloody awful.
Yeah.
It's the worst film that either of the two of them ever made.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It was it kind of when I was doing this with my son, we decided that the remake of Humanoids from the Deep was probably the worst science fiction film we'd seen, with the original version of Humanoids from the Deep being the second worst science fiction film we'd seen. And then we watched Starship Invasions and we decided that that was definitely the worst science fiction film we'd seen. So, yeah, I recommend to everyone out there, if you just fancy something to watch for a while, have a look at Starship Invasions and tell me if you think it's as bad as I do.
It can't be as bad as Plan 9 from Outer Space. Come on.
Oh yeah, no, it is, because the thing about Plan 9 from Outer Space, Plan 9 from Outer Space was a low budget film made by low budget filmmakers, and it has all of the things that you expect from a low budget film, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas Starship Invasions was made with the intention of it being a feature film from a like a big budget feature film.
Mm.
It wasn't made with with all of the things that you get from a B movie, the things that you can look at and laugh. It takes itself too seriously for you to be able to laugh at it.
Oh no,
So it's not even it's so bad it's good, or it's so bad it's funny. It's just bad.
yeah.
There you go.
Oh.
Enough of my ranting.
It's thoroughly enjoyable.
All
But
right.
like I said, obviously a lot of my early stuff was based on, Edward Wood and
Yeah.
Band Nine and stuff like that. Those sorts of films do continue to be an inspiration.
See, I just love things like thing about watching some of his films is it's like sort of takes me back to when I was a kid. You used to watch things like
Yeah.
Tarzan, where he would basically roll around on the floor with a stuffed lion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in Ed Wood, he's rolling around on the floor with a stuffed octopus. You know, it's just kind of like it reminds me of all of those things. So it kind of
Yeah.
like I enjoy watching them because they're good fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think sometimes filming takes itself too seriously.
Yeah.
I've just come up with a terrible idea, and I'm gonna probably run with that at some point next week. So thanks, Andy.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm not sure what to go there. Okay. Well, thank you, Badger.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Thank you to everybody out there for watching, listening to our inane drivel
Yes.
and everything.
And if you did make any of the films that we chatted about, please do comment below and we'll talk to you about it. I'd absolutely adore it if the Australians guys reach out and
yeah.
and and if they can watch Ballamoran and tell us know what they think, it'd be hilarious.
Yes. Maybe we do it. Maybe we do a crossover.
Yeah. Oh. Who knows? That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. So yeah, let us know what you think of these films, and if you are anyone that made any of these films, please get in touch. It'd be great to chat to you about it or whatever. Yes, we'll be back again this weekend. We have an extra episode of me and Badger interviewing Tilly Murray, who is one of the actresses who is in the new R.I.P. Man 2 film. We'll talk about that. And we'll be back next week with some horror stuff, another independent, newish independent film. So until then, thank you very much. We will see you again.
See you again. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
The Sci-Horror Film Podcast.